Right, here we go, boys and girls. Time for a bit of A-Test 265 action for you. As you can see, we got the big Stratman on the back, the Gigavites O2 series. Massive thank you to Opico for the lend of the wagon, and if you want to know more about the wagon, we've also done a video for that as well, so you can go and learn a lot more about that beast that we have on the back. So I thought, while we're out with the forage wagon, we'll have a little bit of a chat about engine transmission, mainly the transmission. I mean, engine-wise, it's the 7.4 litre AGCO Power engine as before, which they had in the long wheelbase 7700 series, formerly known as CC. You might have known it when it was called that. Just a strong motor, to be honest. And today, even with this, with this forage wagon on the back, you can hear it properly sing. We've been making it work today. You can smell that new paint work, put it that way. So anyway, like I say, most of the chat, we're going to have a chat more about this transmission. So two choices of transmission on the A-Test, which is you can get your Dayna-7, which is new, which is one more gear in each range than what Dayna-6 had. That probably makes it sound quite simple, but I'm sure there's a lot more engineering involved than that. Or you can have Dayna-E Power, which is what this tractor is. Now essentially, the two transmissions are the same in terms of number of gears. So basically it's 4 ranges, 7 speeds in each, so you got 28 gears. So really the main differences between the two transmissions are, so with the Dayna-7, the range changes are what are called robotised range changes. So you give the multi-pad an instruction to change to a range, and it changes through the range for you. Kind of like you were doing if you were manually changing a range, but it's just doing it for you. So the big difference with Dayna-E Power is, instead of those robotised range changes, what you have are a pair of clutch packs, effectively giving you a dual clutch transmission. So quicker, snappier range changes. It also means you get less drive loss between when a range change happens, especially when you're doing draft work and things like that. With a normal semi-power shift, if you change through a range, the tractor will practically come to a stop because it loses drive, it loses connection in the transmission. So Dayna-E Power pretty much avoids that effectively with these snappy, really quick range changes. What it means is Dayna-E Power pretty much feels a lot more like using a full power shift transmission, and that's kind of how you drive it as well. You pretty much drive it as a full power shift, and as such you pretty much just forget about changing ranges because they're kind of like non-existent effectively. Now, because the range changes are kind of like sort of non-existent with Dayna-E Power, it means this transmission actually uses less gears. It only uses about 22 of them because it's skipping basically where the ranges effectively overlap. So you get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom, and so on and so forth. It effectively, well, it's speed matching, basically is what it's doing. But because it's speed matching and you get this quick change of gears and ranges with this double clutch technology, it just feels like a progressive full power shift going all the way up the gears. So like I say, it only uses about 22 of them. The main ones it kind of skips out are in the second range, so at the bottom of the second range, at the top of the second range. It basically says, no, I don't need them, thank you very much. So whether you've got either Dayna-7 or Dayna-E Power, as we have here, you can drive the tractors in either manual or automatic mode. On the Dayna-7, you can have the tractor shift through all the gears and go all the way through the ranges. You can program a start-up gear from where you want that gearbox to start from. You can also limit the automatic changes to within a range as well, so you can keep it within a range. Now what you'll notice on this tractor is the graphics are a little bit different because we're not really dealing with ranges. Like I say, we're dealing with effectively a full power shift transmission. The graphics are just that little bit different. Now, as we found with these two tractors, and I'm glad we have had the two tractors to play with, the two variants. So as we found on the Dayna-7 which was the ATES 205 Dayna-7. When we were on the plough, I pretty much had it in auto, and it worked really, really well. It was a lot like driving a CVT. You literally gave it a target speed or a cruise speed, whatever you want to call it, and it just worked to that. It worked out its own revs and ratios really good, like I say, and then combine that with the brake to neutral feature, which you can turn on and off. It was really good on the headlands. Left leg never even came up off the floor. Just use the brakes, dab the brakes, and it pulls the clutch in. It's nice and progressive as well. You got a good feel on the brakes when you use that brake to neutral feature. So yeah, auto worked really well for draft work. As for transport work, a bit like this, the auto mods do work pretty well. If you're probably on more trailer duty, more trailer type duty rather than this forage wagon, I probably would be a bit more tempted just to stick it in auto. Like I say, use that, turn that brake to neutral feature on, and you literally drive it like an automatic car. And particularly with this, the Dayna-E Power, because those range changes are faster and snappier and slicker, and because it feels a lot more like a full power shift, you do get that more automatic car feel to it, really. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's still got, you know, you can still feel it and feel what it's doing, but it is quite smooth with it. Now, where I've kind of been less inclined to use it is actually with this forage wagon when I'm picking up. Because you've got the PTO engaged, obviously, and you are effectively running at full chat almost to get your 1000 speed PTO, and there's not a lot of engine management that goes on in terms of the relationship between the engine and the transmission. So yeah, you could leave it in automatic, which I have tried, and it does kind of work well. And what you end up doing is you just sort of drive it like a CVT, either on the stick or on the pedal, and it will just speed up and slow down. But you obviously, because it's not a CVT, you're not going to get that gradual speed up or slow down of your forward speed. It'll just go, you'll push it to a point, it'll go, oh, it wants to make a gear change, and then it'll make a gear change for you, or a couple, depending on how hard you push it. So for PTO work, I've pretty much just I've gone manual, to be honest, because like I say, it's revving flat out anyway, and all you're doing is going next gear, and it just seems a little bit more instantaneous, seems a little bit more predictable when you're using it as well. So that's just my personal opinion. Like I say, it depends what you're doing, what job you're doing, what application you're doing, as to how you're going to use this transmission. But the beauty of this transmission is the fact that it's so flexible and you can pretty much set it up however you want. So there we go, this is auto now, not doing nothing. And actually, especially when it gets warmed up, it's actually quite nice. Like I said, I've got brake to neutral turned on as well, so I can literally drive this now like an automatic car. Come to a stop like that, just using my brake pedals. Now as soon as I let that off, what the tractor will do is instantly achieve 3k, because I've set it at 3k, so that's like a start-off speed. It's like setting a start-off gear, but you're setting a start-off speed, which was 3 kilometers an hour. Now you can dial that up and down, just using the little roller switch on here, which is nice and easy. And then similarly, you can set a cruise 1 and a cruise 2, and you can either get up to speed, press and hold your cruise buttons and it saves it, or you can do it through the screen, or you can adjust them with the roller. So again, really flexible way to set up your cruise speeds, really nice and accessible on the multi-pad joystick there. And then also at the top speed, in fact, can we do that? There we go. You can alter your maximum speed as well. So if we're on the road, I'm not going to show you now because this headland's rough, but if you're on the road, what you can do is just knock that multi-pad right through a detent, right forward, and it just takes you straight to straight to top speed. Yes, I wonder where we've heard that one before. So transmission, what else we got on here? Shuttling. Still got your famous Massey Ferguson power control lever on the left hand side. It does forwards and backwards. You can change up and down with that little lever. And now there's the addition of a proper part lock as well, which acts upon the transmission, so it is a proper part lock. But if you don't want to use your left hand lever for Shuttling forwards and backwards, there are buttons on the main multi-pad as well. So again, you know, like the automatic modes and like the manual modes and basically the whole operation of this transmission, they've just made it as flexible as possible to either tailor it to your preferences or the job you're doing. However, that said, I am looking forward to a Dayna-E VT whenever that turns up. I don't think it's too far off now. By the time you're watching this, it might have come out, so I think that will be the icing on the cake for the A-Test, I think.